Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Todd Geist with Proofgeist, and I'm here today with a couple of people from our Proofy team. We've got Martha Zink, who's on here as a curious Proofy. She's going to be asking us questions and interrupting us and making jokes about, I don't know, llama
All
and
the things, everything.
Fritos or whatever. And then we have Kyle Duvall, who's we call him build engineer number one. It's his nickname because he builds OttoFMS. He runs the build process for that, and he's a key engineer on the Automatic platform, which we're going to be talking about today. You see
Uh-huh.
there on the screen. So this is the Automatic platform. It's a modern FileMaker hosting platform. We like to call it an application platform because it kind of picks up and extends where traditional FileMaker hosting stops. All right, hosting files is one thing. We do a lot more than hosting files. And I mean, we do that well. We do it with a lot of security, a lot of robustness, a lot of speed, all that stuff. But we go a lot farther. And we're going to get into one of the things that makes Automatic a FileMaker application platform as opposed to a hosting platform. And that is our Automatic Cloud Console.
Oh, this we're supposed
So
to
I'm
enter
going to
the
take a look
oohs
at
and
that.
ahs at this point. That's what we're
Yeah.
using
Ooh,
our soundtrack.
So this is in dark mode. Kyle, toggle it at least once back to
yes.
light mode for light mode, dark mode tends to be one of those topics you cannot bring up in polite company because it starts fights. Kind of like we have a fight here at Proof around crunchy versus smooth peanut butter, and light
It's
mode
very
versus dark
important.
mode is kind of the same thing. I'm a light mode guy for the Automatic Cloud Console. Kyle's
And
a
dark
dark
mode
mode
is
guy.
obviously better. Yeah.
Yeah, gotta
I'm in
think.
light mode. I never thought about it, but I'm in light mode. I haven't switched
Yeah,
it.
you can do
Huh.
both. You can even have it adjust. You can even have it, pick up your system settings
Yeah, I
That's
think
my
it does that.
favorite way to be. Then
Yeah.
I don't have to pick a side. So I
Yeah,
tend to
and
do
then
that.
at nighttime it'll
Exactly.
switch to dark mode, and during the day it'll
Yep.
switch to light mode and all that stuff.
Yep.
Mm.
All right, so what? Just to kind of set the groundwork for this, so the Automatic Cloud Console it's a lot of things, but the first thing to think about it's a place to organize all of your servers. Now, if you only have a single server or a couple of servers, some of the features we're going to dive into might not seem all that interesting to you right up front in the early part of what we're showing. But if you have many servers or multiple servers, if you're a FileMaker developer with lots of customers and you're hosting their files for them, or you're using Automatic to host files for your customers, you're going to really like the Cloud Console where you can see all of your servers. So, Kyle, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so this is the servers list. It's kind of a dashboard of all the servers you have connected to the Cloud Console. You can see it has a variety of useful information, versions, it has OSs, it has locations, it has for hosted servers, it has some details about disks and RAM and CPU and all that stuff. We've got some easy links to AutoFMS, to the admin console, and some easy actions you can take on your servers. So the Cloud Console, you can connect both your on-prem or hosted elsewhere servers and Automatic servers. So servers hosted with Automatic automatically show up in the Automatic Cloud Console. But you can add on-prem servers or servers hosted with others to this manually as well.
Yep.
So
There are
Kyle,
slightly different options for that.
that feels
But
super important because I think that might be something that could get lost pretty easily. So let me just
yeah,
reiterate that. So you're saying that if I were to go to the Automatic website and create an account, and I've got my files hosted somewhere else, I could add them to this console,
Yep.
yes,
and I would just see my stuff free.
oh
Yep.
yeah.
Cool.
So you can see it a little bit in this server list. There's this icon that says like powered by Automatic, but we have one in here. This one right here is running on prem. So this server is not an Automatic server. I mean, it is an Automatic server listed, but it's not hosted with Automatic. It's like an on-prem server we're running separately that we've just connected. Um, so you can
And
add them
maybe we
separately.
should probably mention the way we can do that. So part of the deal is here that AutoFMS, which is our server automation tool that is free and you can download from our website, needs to be running on your on-prem server. So one
Yes.
way you can think about that is AutoFMS is kind of like Automatic, but for your server. So it begins to expose, basically it exposes everything that we think should be running on your server, and it also lets us connect up to this cloud console. So that's the piece that makes that connection. And it's a secure connection. We're using admin API keys to connect to your on-prem server, which means you can revoke them at any time, and you never have to share your credentials
Hmm.
with us. All right, so it's all very secure. So yeah, so it's cool things. You can like filter and sort with this list, and
Yeah, you can filter and
um,
sort. We added grouping like yesterday, so I can say, show me all the versions of 4.5 OttoFMS, and it'll do that. That's new as of, I think, this morning. Um, you can make favorites, which is pretty fun. You can say, I want to favorite these 4 servers and then only show me those. It's very cool stuff. We also have a grid version of this, so you can look at this grid. It'll show you like current server stats, so you can get like disk space and CPU usage and that kind of thing, which is very fun. Um, yeah, and then the other fun thing about the servers, so we have obviously, you can see a list of your servers and that kind of stuff, but if you click on them, you can go into the server and there's a whole dashboard for each of your servers. So it'll show you all this metadata about your server. It'll show you current server stats. It'll show, for hosted servers, it'll show you like regions and the RAM and disk space and current server time. And then you can, like, each of these tabs is something different. So this is, you can manage all your FileMaker files, and you can favorite files, and you can open and close them and download copies of them, and you can rename them right from here. You can open them in FileMaker. I can copy links to them directly from the dashboard. This is also sortable. So I can see like what's my largest file on the server, and it's this big file. So there's a bunch of very cool stuff you can do in here. And then you can do client management. So there aren't any clients on the server right now, but if there were, I could come in here and I could send them messages and I could disconnect them and I could see who was connected and all that kind of stuff. And you can do the same client management actually for each file. So if I say, oh, I have this file I'm going to close, you can go see who's connected to just that file, which is very fun. This services page is pretty cool. So you can manage, like if your HTTP server on FileMaker is having a problem, you can come in here and restart it right from here. So OttoFMS has the ability to restart your services via the command line because it's running on your server. So we have an API we expose that uses a secure pipeline essentially to let you communicate with your server and tell it to restart any of the FileMaker services you want. So you can restart the database server, you can restart all of the things. We also have the ability to restart OttoFMS right from here if you need to do that, which is very cool. One of the new things we added. Go ahead.
Let me stop you right there for just 1 second, or interrupt. So people who have used to using the FileMaker admin console probably recognize some overlapping capabilities here, and that is certainly true. We don't recreate all of the functionality that we have in the admin, that there is in the FileMaker admin console, which is available in the upper right. You can click that thing and go right to it in the upper right corner of the screen. But we are rebuilding a lot of it, and part of the reason is because if you have to deal with a lot of servers, like your services team, Martha, where you've got lots of customers that you're working on with lots of different servers, having to go and find those servers and log into those servers, and each one is a different tab, and having to manage all that is a pain. So here you have all of your servers that you're managing, and you can quickly navigate around to do the things you need to do on all those servers without having to figure out where they all are and all that kind of stuff. So the first kind of thing is we've taken all the sort of admin kind of things that you want to do for all of your servers and put it on a single screen, right? So you can navigate around. And then we've extended it. So things like this, like this page here, are not available through the admin console. You cannot restart the HTTP server, for example, with the admin console. So this would be an extension of that. Does that make sense, Martha?
Yeah, no, I love it. I think that the way that it's central is the thing that feels special to me. It's that I don't have to go find all the things. Yeah. Either I have too many servers from too many clients, or too many servers. Even our own servers get lost kind of in the mix, right? It's like, oh, I haven't logged into that thing for 6 months, and something's up. I need to go see if that file's still even hosted there, or whatever it might be. So being able to go to one place and search in one place is, I mean, it makes my job a lot easier on my projects for sure.
Yep.
Right.
But for those one-off things, it also simplifies the flow.
Yep.
Yeah, we were doing that this morning, actually. We were trying to find a file, and Todd was just clicking through the cloud console, like, oh, is it in this server? Oh, no, is it on this server? And you could check like 6 servers all at once without having to log in 6 separate times and manage all of that.
Into them individually.
Yeah,
really great. So that's why we have this group, and then we've done some things to extend it. So this is one page, but we're pretty proud of our log viewer and our file browser. So let me have Kyle.
Yeah, the log viewer is pretty great. This is actually a pretty new feature of the cloud console. So this lets you view both FileMaker logs and OttoFMS logs. So you can see here, this is the log list on this server. We have all of the FileMaker logs, as well as the auto error log and the info log and all that stuff from Otto. So you can see that I've been running, my admin API token's been refreshed a lot, and there's all these things running on here I can see, but I can also run the event log and see all that happening too. So lots of cool log viewing stuff you can do. These logs are searchable as well, so I can say, find me the files that happened called test, and it'll show me that there's, all these matches, and it'll highlight them, and I can filter to just those. So some very cool stuff you can do with the log viewer. The file browser is a new addition to, as of like OttoFMS version 4.4, which was a couple weeks ago. And this lets you manage all your files. So I can, go in here, I can see, oh, I removed a file from my server a little while ago, but I maybe need it. I bet it's in the remove by FileMaker folder somewhere. I can click into live databases and like, oh, it was in my default folder. Oh, look, I have the, I think I have, maybe I don't have it in this folder. In one of these folders, I have a remove by FileMaker. There it is.
There it is.
So,
yeah.
And then you can see all of your databases you've removed, and you can, download them. You can do all this stuff you want to them. So you can manage all those files, but also you can manage like anything you might have in the FileMaker HTTP folder you can manage, or you can look at your backups. You can restore backups right from here. So if I have like a daily backup of a file, which I don't, if I have an hourly backup of a file, I can go in here and say, oh, this, big file that I ran, I want to restore this. And OttoFMS will basically grab this file right out of your backups directory and restore it to your current live file. It'll replace it with your backed up file. So if you did a deployment and accidentally broke something, you just restore it, continue on, not have to worry about it, and then fix whatever you did and run the deployment again later. So some very cool stuff you can do.
That is pretty awesome. Like, again, one of these things that you can't do on the admin console is just easily restore a file from backup.
Yeah.
And it just takes mere seconds. You don't have to download it or move it and change permissions or do whatever things you have to do, or log into your server, with remote desktop or whatever, and copy the file over. You can just go to the console and do it.
Yeah.
Pretty.
You can
sweet.
also do. I guess I should call out. You can do uploads and downloads from here too. You can rename files, tons of stuff. So
we lost Martha for a second, but she is back.
She has returned to us.
Okay. All right. So we were just talking about restoring backups from the file browser. So you don't have to do anything extra. You don't have to log in any other way to your server. You can just do it all right here through the file browser, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, super cool. And you can restore multiple too. So if I wanted to like shift restore these 5, I could.
Have you seen this, by the way, Martha?
Restore all of those.
I haven't seen the restore, but just file browsing is like, when I saw that for the first time, I kind of lost it. I was so excited because it's not easy.
This is what typically happens, right? Like, so something happened in a file, they're doing development or whatever, and somebody's like, oh, crud, I need a backup. So usually that person is not the person who has access to the server, right? And so somebody gets a call, right? Somebody gets a Slack message. Oh, can you restore the file from X, blah, blah, blah. And then somebody has to stop whatever they're doing to come and do it. And in this case, you can just go to the file browser, pick the file you want to restore from the backup you want to restore it from, and just click restore, and you're good.
Yeah, super simple.
Your file's back up. So, so another one of those things where we're really extending what's possible. So we start with this idea of getting everything on a screen, and then we extend what you can do to give you more options. With the file browser, I get a little, because we do a lot of this stuff in OttoFMS. It runs on your server too. So I get a little confused about what features are where. We don't do uploads here with this one yet, right?
We do uploads here.
We do uploads. Oh my goodness.
Yes. You can't, I guess, you can upload files to any of the folders. Uploading like a FileMaker file doesn't currently deploy it, but
we are going to do that with right within the live database folder at some point.
Yes.
You can just upload
it's currently available for FileMaker
to the folder and have it started without having to do the other thing that can be that can just take longer.
So one use case for that real quick is, so if I'm like, sometimes I am expecting some other service or some other application to dump a file somewhere on a FileMaker server, right? So that I have access to it.
Yes.
And then I'm going to manipulate that server side. And that's all kind of black box-ish from FileMaker Pro, right? Because I can't actually access any of that. But with this, I can now like dump a file, my test file. Right. I can go do things in FileMaker Pro, make sure it all works, and then I just have more transparency to what's actually on the server now.
Yep.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, so the documents folder is where that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so because documents is one of the folders that you can reach from FileMaker Pro. So you can insert files from there. You can write files to there. So this is one of those places where you want to do a server-side process because it's really long, and then export like a giant CSV file, and you want to do it on the server because will take too long. You dump it to the documents directory. And now, again, rather than having to go in and log into the server, you're just in OCC, you're in the console, and you can just grab the file and download it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah, some very cool stuff you can do from the file browser.
Yep. So we've consolidated, brought it all together. We've extended with a bunch of new features. And is there anything else to cover on the server dashboard?
If you're a fan of OttoFMS, you can do some editing of the OttoFMS settings from here. So there's some OttoFMS settings you can adjust. So OttoFMS has the ability to like set colors and tags per server. So this is my prod server, so I have it set to be prod. But I could edit that here and just say, oh no, make this my dev server. And you can see there's a little preview that says, oh, this is going to be Acme Prod Dev. And you can make custom ones of these. So if I wanted to be test, I could. I could save that, and that would be test. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with the tags and things. This doesn't get saved until I press save though. So you can edit those from here.
I think
then for hosted servers, you can do some you can hard reboot them right from the console, and you can edit your custom domain names, and the health check is pretty cool actually. So the Cloud Console has the ability to call to your server, so you can run this health check, and the health check basically checks is FileMaker running? Can we hit the APIs? Is your cert valid? Is OttoFMS running? Is your license expired? It does all these checks for you, so you can kind of troubleshoot exactly what's going on if you're having a problem with your server.
And this works again on-prem too, so it's a little extra debugging tool around what's the health of my FileMaker server, even if it's running on your own Mac Mini in your closet, this would still work. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about favorites, but they're probably the favorites are one of my favorite features, frankly, because again, if you do a lot of FileMaker work, then you have not only a lot of servers that you want to favorite, but you probably have files that you want to favorite,
right?
And you want to be able to launch those files super quickly, and we have a couple ways to do that.
Yes, we do. So you can see here I favorited this server. Up in the top right, there's this little rocket icon, and you click on the rocket, it has this drop down that just has a variety of things that have labels. But you can see this is like a test API.fmp12, and then I have these servers. So this Acme Prod is one we're on right now, but Acme Win is one of my other servers. When I click that, it takes me right to the dashboard for Acme Win, which will load all of its information and then display all that cool stuff. But if I have a file, it'll just open that file. So you can see here it's giving me the open in FileMaker Pro, and then I will, and then you can't see it because I'm sharing a window, but it does open that. Lets me sign in with automatic SSO, which Todd will show you in a little bit.
Yeah.
But some very cool stuff there. And then you can also, the other fun thing the Cloud Console has is this. You can see next to the rocket, there's this search bar, Command K. If you press Command K, it pops up this, which is just a really fun way to navigate around the console. So if I want to go to my servers, I can just click the down arrow and press enter, and it takes me to the server page. But all of my favorites are in here too. So if I go here and I say, take me to Acme Prod, I'm in the dashboard. I'm there. So you can do all of your favorites through that. I can do my files. I can get to here. Wants to open FileMaker Pro. So you can do files. You can do URLs through the URL builder, which we'll talk about in a little bit. You can do all kinds of things through favorites. Very cool. And if you have a Mac, there's a Raycast extension, which lets you open the favorites from outside of the console. So you can just
from your desktop.
From your desktop.
We're gonna get Eric. We're gonna get Eric on, the creator of that Raycast extension.
Yeah. We're gonna have
to do a pod on that, or a podcast on that. But so
I'm always fascinated by this launch thing here, and I think about why I get so excited about it, right? Because at the end of the day, it's just a shortcut, no big deal. But it does two. It does two things for me, it helps me with my mental load, right? Because there are and it helps me it helps me in two ways. Sometimes I know where I'm going, right? I just need to go to that file I open all the time. And so being able to just quickly double click or Command K to get to it really fast because it's on the top of my head is super important. But the second thing it does is it lets me sort of forget where I'm going, but give me enough to decide where I'm going, right? Like, do you ever open? It's like when you open up the fridge and you're like, I knew I
What's
wanted
in here?
something.
Oh
And
yeah, that's my
once you see, it,
file.
you're like, oh right, I was gonna grab the piece of cake or whatever, right? And it gives me that. It's like, oh right, I was gonna open up this client's file. And so like having those two modes of I know where I'm going and I don't have to try too hard, or I think I know where I'm going. Oh shoot, I forgot. But look, I'm reminded again. Having both of those in such a quick visual way is super helpful. And I think that's what gets so exciting about it is that in a given day, sometimes I can open up 5 or 6 different files for
Oh
five or
yeah.
six different clients, and it's so easy to just get kind of tied up through whatever I'm doing. So not having to worry about finding stuff is, I mean, that I don't know, that deserves all the party
The
emojis in my
launcher
mind.
is frankly one of my favorite features.
Yeah,
I
it's
use
a
it
good one.
constantly, and I
Yeah.
use the Raycast extension. We'll get to it, but just and not only am I opening like, custom solution files or client files, but I have to open the files that we use to run the business like all the time, all day long. And it used to be what I used to do was like open them and then like push them off to the side somewhere where they wouldn't take up my screen real estate, but I could get them back really quickly because I wouldn't want to remember exactly what server they're on or where that stuff is, or right. So I'd have like all these files open, and now I can just close them because I know with just a few keystrokes I can get those files back open with the K-bar or the Raycast extension.
Yeah. And I
Um,
guess while we're talking about favorites, there's a whole tab to manage them too. So you can come in here, see them all. You can manage the label you have. See all of the things you need to see about them, um,
yep, pretty sweet.
and create new ones right from here too. Actually, so yeah, very cool.
I wanted to cover before we get on to. Let's just cover a couple quick things, then we'll move on to
Yeah.
something with maybe a little more demos. But as we get into this, so the support tab is important. I'm going to just show that down there. So
Yeah.
this is where you'll find any service notices about the Automatic platform itself. So that's all of
Hmm.
our infrastructure. It also has a
This will
link
take
to
you
the
to
docs, and so there's the
yeah. You can
status
see
page that
the
you can see.
status page.
Yep.
You can get to the OCC docs. You can go to we have a community forum you can ask
Oh
questions
yeah,
in if you have any problems.
community
Community forum
forum
is
is great.
great. Um, any
Lots
questions
of
you
people
have, you
doing
can
fun stuff
come
there.
here for OttoFMS, OCC, Simple Queue, all of the things really.
Yep.
And then you
And
can
then you
submit
can
support
submit a
tickets.
support ticket from here too, and you
Yeah.
can view your existing tickets. So that's an important way. If you are having issues or you need some help, support tab will get you started. And then we should cover organizations too. This is important,
Yes, that is important.
especially again if you're a developer shop. You may have an organization for your company where you have some servers, and your customer might have an organization, because organizations are essentially a group of services, mostly servers, that are running on Automatic, but also some other services that we'll talk about in a minute, and billing, right? So if you want to do some kind of you want a different billing arrangement, different credit card, go to a different person, whatever, you would need a different organization, and then you can move your servers and things like that. So it's not uncommon for people to have access to multiple organizations. And so here's where you land if you have multiple organizations. You click on that. So Kyle's a member of 4.
Yeah.
And when you click on one of them, you go to the org dashboard, where it just kind of shows some highlights about the org itself. And
Yeah,
also,
you can see.
what else does it have? So it's got we'll get into realms and storage in a minute, but it's got your members, so you can invite people. We didn't talk about that. You can invite people to be a member of your org, and they will have access to the stuff that they have access to, and not things that are in different orgs. And of course, billing you can set up there as well.
Yeah.
You've got multiple roles there. What are the different types of roles that
Oh yeah,
a member can be?
Yeah, so right now it's a member and an admin. Admins are they can manage the billing, they can invite new members, they can, there's a couple actions that you can take in the console that only admins can do. So
basically spend money. Basically,
if you want to be able to spend money or like hard reboot a server, only admins can do those things.
Cool.
Groovy.
But beyond that, there isn't too much of a difference.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be adding some more to that at some point, but that's where we are now: members and admins.
Yeah.
Organizations overviews. What were we going to talk about? Oh, there were two things I wanted to talk about before we move on to. I want to show some demos real quick. One is that if you're a member of multiple orgs, it would be really nice if on the servers page, for example, you could see all of the servers for all of your orgs, and you can actually do that.
But wait, Todd, what's this show all button?
Yes, show all button, and now that is a list of all of the servers and all of our orgs that Kyle has access to.
You can see which org is which. You can group by the org. So you can see I have my group ones and I have my Acme ones. Very fun.
Yep. So, and you can show favorites for all of them. So if, again, in developer shop situation, maybe you have some customer servers you really want to make sure you're watching on, but they're in a couple different orgs, no problem. Show all, favorites only, and you can watch only those servers if you want to. One thing that we just kind of forgot, we didn't cover in the very beginning is we talked about adding on-prem servers, and we should point out that is the green button in the upper right.
Yes.
If you click that. I don't think we talked about. We did not. Yeah. So you can either deploy a new server on Automatic, and if you click that button, you're going to go through one of those wizards where you decide what thing you want and all the stuff and blah blah blah. And then at the end of that process, a new server will be spinning up and will appear in your console. And then the other button, you can connect existing, and you go through and just fill out this wizard where you put in your server name, and you'll be asked. Hard word to say for some reason. You'll be asked for your admin credentials, which we do not store. We only use to create an admin API key. And that API key is what we will be able to use to connect to your server to do the things that we're doing on your server from the Automatic Cloud Console. All right. So I have over here on this screen, I've got the Cloud Console working. And let me rearrange some things so I'm looking at the right places here. All right. Get on back to this monitor. Here we go. So we've got, so in addition to servers, which you can get in various sizes, from very small to very, very large. The other thing I should say about that is we actually have bare metal servers. Again, uncommon. A lot of our other colleagues that do hosting do not offer bare metal servers as part of their platform, but we do. And the reason is that certain scenarios, especially high volume web direct sites, are really going to need bare metal. It just isn't any other way to do it. But we have other services as well, one of which is SSO, or single sign-on. And what that is that's custom OAuth. So if you've used any of like Microsoft Azure or the other OAuth provider setups that are in that you can get in the admin console here. And you go to like administration, external auth, blah, 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 right? You set up this. So fine, if you have Microsoft Azure, you can use groups. But if you don't have Microsoft Azure, then you really don't have a good way to do groups. And so what you're going to need is custom OAuth. And Automatic will provide you with a custom OAuth solution that you can sign up for. And basically you just click this button here and you get you pop it up, and it's $30 a month for up to 100 users can be in your realm. And if you have more users than that, you can get it. Just contact us. Once you have a realm set up, you get a list of users, you get a list of groups, and the nice thing is this is the only thing you need to add to your FileMaker file. You don't need to add the usernames. You only need to add the group, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. Let's go back. So no, I wanted to go here, and then so here's all of the servers that are using that are using custom OAuth. And what I want to do is I've set up one of them to launch using custom OAuth, and it is this guy, Acme Win. Another way, you can just find things, and then you click in, go to databases, and I'm kind of showing off some of the other things you can do here. Simple. Oh wait, it was not Acme Win. It was Acme Prod, right?
Yes,
That's the one I set up, I believe. Databases, simple. There we go. See how fast that was to find the file I needed? Like, do that using the FileMaker hosts. Like, okay, log in, click this little pop-up thing. Forget it. Here it is. So now I just want to launch this, and we'll see what that looks like. So I'm going to click it and just open it in FileMaker Pro. Another way you can launch things really easily. And then you get this button, automatic. Click that button, and you're going to get a I believe it's this one. It's not that one. It is my demo account. The demo gods are failing me here. There we go. I got the right one. And we log in. And that's it. So I'm in. And so what does that credential look like inside the FileMaker file? Just really quickly. Oh, you don't see it because it's on the wrong screen. So let me bring that over here. There it is. So I'm in the file. Popped up on the other screen. And now let me manage security. And if I go in and look at custom OAuth, FM admins, which is the name of that group that I showed you in OAuth. So that's all I need. Anybody who's a member of the FM admin group that you set up in Automatic SSO will be able to access this file. No need to use separate usernames or all that rigmarole, just boom, done. So that's that. So let's look quickly at another nice feature we have here, which is cloud storage. So you can purchase S3 compatible storage from us at $15 a terabyte. And so if I look at that, we've got a storage endpoint set up here, and it's basically you can buy as many as you want. Each one is at least $15 up to a terabyte, and then it's $15 for every terabyte after that. Right? So you just click that button, pick a location where you want your storage, where you want your files to live, and that's it. And then you end up here. Now, you can use this for anything. It's S3 compatible, so you can use it for anything you want. One of the things that we use it for is setting up offsite backups. That you can set these up on Automatic if you want an additional backup beyond the standard stuff that is included with the Automatic platform. Or if you are on-prem, you can use this to just set up offsite backups really easily. So we've got S3. We didn't have to go to the Amazon console and figure all that stuff out. We've got an S3 compatible thing. And if you go and we look at if we log into OttoFMS, and by the way, this is what it looks like. We're not really focusing on it in this case, but you set up your offsite backups by entering in your S3 credentials and then setting up a schedule. And that all works. If you want to use your own S3, you can totally do that. But if you want to use the console, OCC, the Automatic platform to do it, all you have to do is pick your endpoint, pick a bucket that you've created, and you add it to server. And I'm going to pick from my list of servers Acme Win, and I'm going to put a remote path, which is like on that, and in that bucket, what folder do I want all my files nested in? So I'm just going to do test 2, and I'm going to go ahead and say create a backup schedule. So what we're going to do is we're going to move these credentials to the OttoFMS server running on your server, or in this case our Automatic server, and then we're going to create a backup schedule. And when that backup schedule is done, it's going to send the files that were in the backup up to S3. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that. And if everything goes well here, and it did, success, added to the bucket. And if I go look now here, we can see we've got the offsite backups already set up for us, and the backup schedule is set. So if we go and look at the console, and I look at backups here, we can see we've got an offsite backup that was created. And now I can do whatever I want. I can go in here and I can edit this to run whenever I want it to run. I can choose whatever folders I want to use for the backup, whatever databases I want to do that, and it will just go ahead and do it. So once that's up, whatever schedule you set here will run, and when it's done, backups will get shipped to S3.
It's so nice that it all comes together from that one spot, right? There were like 3 different places where things just happened, but you just went through like a whole little wizard there, and now all the pieces are there, and I can go customize that. But it was like one path to get it all
Yeah.
done. And I just want to highlight, so you said these last two things you covered, SSO and cloud storage, those are paid things through Automatic, but they can work on a server that we are not, that Automatic is not
That's
hosting,
right.
correct? Okay.
That's right. It can run on any FileMaker server. This will work on any FileMaker server running anywhere, provided that that server is reachable. Like if you're behind a firewall and Automatic Cloud Console can't talk to your server, we can't do that. But if you have a server running anywhere else and that's public, it'll work anywhere.
That's awesome.
AWS, DigitalOcean, anybody that can run a FileMaker server can also run OttoFMS on that server.
And we showed the ability to like add it kind of automatically, add the offsite backups to the offsite storage, but you don't need to add it like automatically through OCC. In the top three dots there on each endpoint, we give you all the connection information.
That's
so
right.
you can just come here, you can get the connection information, you can connect to your S3 via an FTP client, or an S3 browser client.
Yeah.
You can send stuff yourself, you can hook it up to whatever. So
right, if you wanted to then browse like using Transmit or some other, or what's the one you use, FileZilla, or is that the one?
I use CyberDuck for the
CyberDuck, CyberDuck.
Stuff. Yeah.
So these are the credentials you'd use to enter, and now you can browse your offsite backups.
And if you want to set it up on AutoFMS manually, you can just grab them here too.
Yep.
So if your server's not connected to OCC and you want to set it up, you can grab them and run with it.
I think this is kind of an important point. We work really hard on layering what we're offering here. So everything that's happening here on your AutoFMS server is basically free. Like we don't charge for any of the deployments, the dashboard that's here, any of this stuff. This is running on your server. The backups work on your server. You don't need to connect to Automatic to do that. That's just all running on your server, and that's all free, right? And then what Automatic does is it takes it to the next level. We provide services and try to make them as easy as possible for you to just be able to use them without having to go through and learn about S3 and what's an endpoint and what's a region and what's a this and what's a that. Just do it, right? So the Cloud Console is sort of like, so we've talked about, we organize, we extend, we add additional services, we make it easy, right? That's the goal there.
I guess AutoFMS is free. The server dashboard on the Cloud Console also completely free. So if you want to be able to manage multiple servers using the functionality provided by AutoFMS, but not have to open up 6 windows, you can do that all through OCC, completely free of charge. You don't have to have any hosted servers. You don't have to pay for anything. You can do it all without even entering a credit card. You have as many servers as you want that are on-prem, running on AutoFMS, doing all the things.
All the things. And guess what? We're still not done. There's still a few more things.
We're adding new things every day.
We're adding a lot, and we continue to do this because we think I got to be careful because I could go on this topic for like hours, and we're going to have other videos and other podcasts where we talk about this stuff. But I do want to, in the interest of just like covering everything that is part of the Cloud Console, which is really where our focus is today. The Cloud Console, which is part of the greater Automatic ecosystem, there's a couple more things, and those are a couple tools we have here. URL Builder. So sometimes you want to be able to create links to FileMaker files or FileMaker files and run scripts. And so you want to be able to build that URL easily. You don't want to remember what which of these things do I need to use, and like what's the exact syntax for running a script. Like all that stuff is just done here for you. So you can choose a server, and then you can choose a file, and then you could add a script name, and then you're going to get a URL for that, which we will probably blur out for the final video because we don't want to expose some of that stuff. But that's the idea. You get this URL, and it's an FMP URL. You can copy it. You can also copy it as an HTTPS link, which is useful if you have like a documentation system using like Basecamp or Confluence or ClickUp or whatever, where you're typing up notes in a text editor and you want to just have a link to open this file or run this script. Boom, you can just paste this in there, and you're able to do it. So, and you can save it as a favorite, so you can run that script with a command. Hey, run the weekly report. Boom, and off goes the script, and everything's done. So that is URL Builder. So ModLog. So what I'm going to do here as I start talking about this is ModLog is something cool. I'm going to open up a one of our solutions. Whoops, I'm going to try to open up one of our solutions. There we go. And I'm going to run save a copy as XML, and just going to save that to my desktop while I'm talking here. And that is underway. And now let me move that onto the screen so you can see it. So there's LedgerLink, and it's it doesn't have any data in it. I don't care for this particular demo. We're looking at the structure. So what does ModLog do? ModLog takes the save as XML output, and it gives you a ModLog. So if I look at the downloads, where did I put my save as XML there? Is it on my desktop? I did it somewhere. Where did I do it? LedgerLink, there it is. Let me move it over here so we can see it on screen. Here we go. So there's LedgerLink. So this is the LedgerLink XML. I drag it on here, and boom, I get a list of every element in the FileMaker system, and it's sorted by its modification timestamp, which is pretty sweet. So this will tell me exactly when the last time this particular file was changed and who changed it. So this is great if you want to know, like, if you haven't opened a file in a while and you're like, this one, boy, this one hasn't been open since May of 2023. In fact, I know this is not the file that I want to work on. So I just learned something important. This is not the version of the file that I want. There's one that I know was modified after this date, and I just know it. I know that I've worked on this since that date, and if I'd had the right file, I would see that I had worked on it on those dates. So it's a really good way just to quickly check what's changed in this file and when it was changed. It's not going to take the place of FM comparison, which does a full comparison between two versions. This is just going to list all of the changes that were made in the file and by who, basically each element, the last thing that was done to that element, and by who and when. Very useful. And it is sortable and all those good things, and filterable.
Sortable and filterable and searchable, and there's more columns you can display.
Oh yeah, there's more columns.
There's not many. There's not many more.
There's not many in this case, but this is cool. We didn't show this. A lot of our table views have this, where you can save that, and you can also make it wider or smaller. All kinds of fun things to it.
Yeah, a bunch of cool things.
Groovy, Martha.
That's really great.
Running services projects.
Yeah.
This can come in handy, huh?
You said, you mentioned earlier the layering thing, right? Like, you're right. This is an FM comparison, but I don't always need FM comparison. Sometimes I just need a quick bit of information, and then I can open up FM comparison if I need more.
That's right.
Being able to, again, it's that centralized, do a lot of stuff, and then if I need more, there are other places I can.
There are other tools, but this is like, how can I quickly get the information? Is this the file? The last thing I remember doing in this file was working on some scripts, and I know it was this year. Is this the copy of that file? The answer is no.
Right.
I know it for certain.
And you're
this
done.
is not the copy. Somewhere else I have a newer copy that has my change in it. This one doesn't have it.
That's great.
And if you're using FM comparison, which does a lot more, but FM comparison, you need a before and after, and it will show you the changes between there, right?
Right.
This just shows you the changes in order, and there's good information. If you're working on teams and you've got other developers working in the file, quickly get a save as XML, throw it on the ModLog. Oh, Kyle's working on this, or Martha's working on that, and now I know that they're working on it. I even know what. I know it was a layout or a field or a script, and I know the name and all that stuff. So it's pretty awesome. The last thing is a nice little, again, sort of one of these nice little things that just makes your life a little bit easier as a FileMaker developer. So the use case here is I have a FileMaker file, and I need to move it onto the screen so you can see it. And I've got a button, and I want an icon, but this is not the icon I want, and the icon I want doesn't exist in here, so I need an icon. So I go to a place to get icons like Font Awesome, and I find a icon. You can see this up here, this yin and yang icon up here, which is pretty cool. I want that because I'm like into Zen and stuff, so yin and yang makes a lot of sense. So I go in here, and of course I can add that yin and yang right to there, and it doesn't work. Rats. What am I
know
going to
this
do?
feeling.
You know
When I
this
get
feeling,
sad.
right? Ah,
When I go
sad.
treat myself to a cookie.
Get a cookie, right? But we have a
Try
solution, and that is
again.
called FMSVG. I'm going to take this, I'm going to drag it. It's going to put it in my outbox
Yeah, it just drops it right in your downloads folder.
downloads folder right here, right? So now I want to keep both. Come back. Oh, I got to come all the way over here. There we go. And there's my copy. And now, if I go back to my FileMaker file, here it is. I click on that button, which because I hit the icon is gone. So we click that. We get the copy. And boom! Works.
Yay.
And it works with all the colors, right? So I can change colors with the button icon, and I can make whatever color I want here, and it's going to work. So that is FMSVG. It will fix most SVG icons that you find. It will fix.
That's awesome.
So that's a lot.
You know,
We've covered an awful lot, and there's so much more we could dive into, but this does, I think, give you a pretty good sense of what we're talking about here when we talk about the Cloud Console. It consolidates, brings all your servers together. It extends the capabilities of those servers, and it gives you a bunch of simple and easy tools to make your life as a FileMaker developer easier.
I have seen the evolution of the Cloud Console and OttoFMS and lots of other tools that we have, and I think what's worth mentioning is that at Proof, like, we depend on these tools, we live on these tools, we use them every day for all of our solutions, for our client work, for our internal work, and so much of what has come. So many of the features in Automatic are because I'm like, hey, Kyle, can you, is this possible? Could we have this thing? And it's like,
I get a lot of Slack notification requests.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? We've got our own internal office hours to like try to build this thing into something that's going to be useful for us, for a company that is managing multiple servers for multiple customers, in all kinds of different formats and setups. What I love about Automatic is that it's living and breathing all the time, right? We are constantly giving it life and saying, could we do this? Or, gosh, it's really tricky to go find this thing. And then, poof, favorites show up.
Yeah.
So I think, I hope that for people watching and listening to this, they'll embrace the idea that this is living and breathing, and that you all are constantly adding stuff to it as things evolve and change and features are requested.
Yep.
That's why I love it. It's because I keep getting what I want.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that a little bit. Like, in the community, people do the same thing. So people will come in and be like, it'd be really great if I could, like, if I could do this one thing to my file if instead of having to download this file and rename it and re-upload it back to my server, I could just do it. Which is like a feature we added to OttoFMS, because someone was like, it'd be cool if I could just do this instead of having to like do this download and rename and upload. And now in OttoFMS, you can just click a button, rename it, closes your file, it renames it, reopens it, everything's done. So yeah, even if you aren't a Proof person, you could go to the community and be like, hey, in the console, it'd be great if I could, like, open this file or run a schedule really quite fast or anything like that. So
Yeah, we get a lot of our features, both for AutoFMS and for the Cloud Console, directly from people giving us feedback in the community. So we'll have notes on where the community is, but it's basically community.proofgeist.com, and you'll see people working with AutoFMS and working with the console. And it's where they come if they have issues, but it's also where they come and give feedback and ask for new ideas and occasionally show off really fun things that they create. So this is the hub for this Automatic ecosystem that we're talking about. It's Automatic platform, and we have a lot more that's already out there that we don't have time in this video to cover. But all the stuff around AutoFMS and webhooks and application logging and just tons of other things that are part of that, migrations, all that stuff, which we haven't covered today, but we will in other videos. But it is all around this idea of servers and managing servers. Like in the old days, servers and managing servers was done by experts. And the FileMaker developers would have to talk to the FileMaker server guy to get them to do X, Y, or Z. And our goal with the Automatic platform is to make the server and the things that happen on that server part of what people who are building applications can use to extend and empower their applications. And so not only is it about administering files and like uploading and downloading and doing and data migrations, but it's also about extending. It's about making the applications you're building on it better, making them more secure, more robust, making them faster, adding new features, and also making your life as a developer easier by giving you the access to the things that you need just to make developing easier at your fingertips. That's the Cloud Console. Anybody else have anything to add, or should we wrap there?
I love it. Thanks for showing it. Thanks for letting me be curious and ask questions. And
yes,
to get
thank you so much.
Even though I've used most of that, I haven't used all of it. So
yeah,
see a little extra stuff.
Awesome. All right, well, stay tuned for more fun stuff coming in this vein. We'll see you all again soon.